Hello, ServiceNow community. My name is Faisal Dadabhoy. I am a senior consultant. I like to build applications within ServiceNow. I build this application outside of where I'm consulting. So I call this application Mass Email Communication Tool. I've attempted to build it where it could be used for mass email distribution, mass notification, such as uh, letting your users know about changes, upcoming changes, or just general marketing. So there are a number of products that exist outside of ServiceNow, which I feel works really well, such as MailChimp, but those exist outside of ServiceNow. Some of the features I've tried to add to this mass email functionality is batch emailing. So let's say you're trying to send an email to 1,000 email addresses per notification. You have one notification, you've got 1,000 email addresses. It'll break that, if you choose, it'll break that into such as 20 email addresses per notification. You'll send out 50 notifications. So just the reason that that is done because so it doesn't flag that as a spam. Could be used with custom tables, so such as if you have used a marketing distribution list, we can use that. Also, I've added a feature of unsubscribe. So if you have an email address that wants to, or user or a customer that wants to unsubscribe to this type of email, you have that person has an option to do that. So why I came up with an idea to build this? So I used to work for a company that used Mailchimp because nothing like that existed within ServiceNow. They had to constantly export data from other sources to make things work. In addition, a number of people, companies have brought up a need to me for a mass communication tool within ServiceNow. So I'll do a quick demo of this tool. I'll also talk a little bit about the installation, which should be pretty straightforward. This should be a lightweight application, and I'm hoping you guys feel that it is designed elegantly and it should not impact anything else. However, I've built this in Helsinki and I've tested in Helsinki, but this has not been used in the production instance. So if you want to adopt this for a production instance, please test it well in your dev and test instance with some real data, so you're confident that when you go in production, that the behavior is an intended behavior. All right, so let's do a demo. Okay, so I've started a new email communication. I've actually pasted some information right here, and I've just for time saving measure, I've pasted an email subject and email message. And basically, I'm just trying to point out here, you can put images right here. You can have a nicely formatted HTML for the body that could be sent. So in this case, I just, copied something from CNN and just pasted right here. Okay. All right, so ready. I'm sort of ready to move forward with this. Okay, so email groups. So what this is, if you want to add some groups to this email, you don't have to, but if you want to, so let's add few groups right here. So I added cab approval. I'm going to add capacity management. All right, email users. What that is, so I can use myself or I can pick a user from the sysuser table. So I'll just pick someone randomly right here. And then also, if I just want to enter an email address, I could do that. So I could just say something like, it's a dummy email address I'm adding. All right, so I've added a dummy email address. All right, okay, then I have an option to build an email list from a out of the box table or from a custom table. So in this case, I'm going to click on this to build a custom list. In this case, it automatically assumes that you're going to do it from sys user table, but of course you can change that. And then so in this case, I'm using sys user table, and then I could say right here that I want to only send it to active user. So if I pick active is true and refresh that list, it actually goes down to 565 because I've got some users that are inactive. But for this demo purposes, I'm not going to use sys user table, but I'm going to use a custom table that I've created called email distribution list, something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and come right here, email distribution. All right, so this is an email distribution list that I've selected. Okay, this field is an important field that if I hover over it, it says select a field that holds the email address. So because it's a custom table, we don't know where email address resides in or which field holds the email address. So in this case, actually it's an email address, so we'll pick that. So that's an important. Again, I can go ahead and filter this, but for this demo purposes, we're not going to filter that. So I'll take about 51 records, and I've got some email groups and all that. So I'm going to go ahead and basically save this record. All right, so I've saved this record, and I'm going to actually go down and see. Okay, so basically I haven't sent this notification, so this is still in a preview mode. And but let's look at this related list. So anything that says preview is basically good to go. So mostly it's all on preview. I've got about 63 records. Okay, but why do I have in some cases my status is unique. In this case, for example, for this email address, this is actually my email address, but it says duplicate. So if I do, let me actually do show matching. The reason it says duplicate because there is a duplicate record. What I've done is I've added myself here, and also I belong to the cab approval. So I'm added 2 times. So basically, it's not going to, if it's a duplicate, it's not going to send it. It'll just flag it as duplicate. All right, so that's that. Okay, but I could actually come here and say, let's say if I don't want to send it, I could actually come right here and put it to ignore, and it won't send it. So basically, it'll send anything that's just preview. Okay, what is do not email? Why is it? Okay, so for example, Bernard Leboy, if he um, if he if that person is basically puts himself to, actually this is my preference, if I put myself to that I don't want to receive this type of email, mass email notification, that's what that setting says. um, that basically if you do that, or also I have added an unsubscribe feature. I'll talk about it a little bit later on. But if you unsubscribe yourself within an email, then basically you'll also be in a do not email list. It'll basically unsubscribe automatically rather than you doing it yourself. All right. Also, um, uh, we have some other users. These are actually like these two users. They don't exist within the sys user, but they actually exist in the email distribution list. So they are also have ability to unsubscribe this. For that, I actually created a unsubscribe non-user table that basically holds that data. So anytime someone unsubscribe themselves, that basically those are added right here, and then basically the email would not be processed for them, and we'll talk a little more about that, how that works. So actually I'm pretty much ready to send. I've kind of have all this, my everything is built, I'm ready to send. So when I sent it, let me go ahead and send this. Okay, I've sent it, canceled. And since I'm using this as an admin, um, if you are using this application with a mass email communication role, that I've actually created a role for that, if I can find that, it's a mass email communication. If you're using that role and not an admin role, basically this notification will get locked out because I wanted to kind of go through the properties so I'm not impersonating that person. And anyways, all right, so I've already sent this notification. Let's look at this notification. I'm going to reload this because it's still processing. All right, so it says all these are sent. Um, uh, but let's look at a really quick. So we're going to look at the. So I'm going to look at the. Okay, so we were doing demo with YouTube, demo to subject. So it actually processed 3 emails. But why did it process 3 emails? The reason it processed 3 emails, let's talk about that really quick. So if I go to email properties, basically what I'm saying, number of emails to process per notification used for bulk email to process in batches. Basically, I want to break my emails into 20s. So basically, I had about 57 records or so to process, and basically the first notification took 20 email address, the second one took 20, and the third one just took the remaining. So that's why it's basically it sent three notifications, and the idea is we don't want to flag that as a spam email, and that's why it's doing the batching. And we'll talk about this email property, what that is. Please click here to unsubscribe, what these are. So we'll just kind of look at that really quick. Okay, so actually I'm just gonna use a older email that I had received that I was trying to demo. That didn't really work out really well. But anyways, okay, so in this case, I received an email. So email would sent out with something like this because that was our body. But at the bottom, it added some wording right here. And what that is, it says, please click here to unsubscribe to this type of email. If I click this, basically it generates an email with it adds some body information, and it adds a specific subject line. And if I send this, basically the idea is if a user send this, they are unsubscribing themselves to the email, and they will be added to do not email list. So basically that's the idea. And the property, the two properties that we were talking about, so this actually it's picking up from a property. So if you want to change the wording of it, you would change the property. And if I click on this, it actually adds some sort of body that's also picking up from a property. So if you do want to change that, you can actually change that. All right, so let me see. Okay, so this is, we talked about this. This is if a non-user wants to unsubscribe themselves, a record will be added right here. So we know next time not to send it. If a user unsubscribes themselves, basically this will become your mass email notification will basically it'll turn it off. It'll set to false. um, okay, so I think I kind of covered what I wanted to cover. We send the notification. We did send the notification. Okay, so I think I may have not added myself there, but I have another email address that added myself. So basically, we did receive an email. I was just waiting for the email, but we did receive an email, and that's where you would unsubscribe yourself. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to cover was if we look at the email, it actually it's going to myself and then do not reply. Where is all this is coming from? So let me just show you where this is coming from. So if I look at the notification itself, I've added a all the users that I have, they will be added as a BCC, as a blind copy. But the users, it will go out to so I've added a user called do not reply, and that's where this is going to. And then event perm 2, it's basically it's picking up whoever is the person who created the event in that case, or email notification in that case, that was me. So it's basically sending it to me and this user. And that's why when we looked at the uh, to field, it basically going to me, and then do not reply email address. So that's where that is coming from. All right, so let's talk about really quick how would you install it. I think it's really straightforward. I'm gonna just go to the update set, and basically you have an update set right here that has business rules, script includes, all that included right here. It's not really a humongous, it's only 117 records. And so you would apply this update set, and that's pretty much you have everything there. But of course, if you're testing the email in test and dev instance, you would want to go basically to your email properties, and you're going to want to turn that on. And of course, however you test it, if you test it with real email address, you're going to have to be very careful, or you may decide to send it to some test email address. That's sort of, I think that would be your sort of internal testing. All right, that's really all I wanted to cover. Thanks very much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.